them. The problem I have is, what do you do with this Medusa once you get her? I think really the answer is you hook her in and then you start running away. I would find it very entertaining if they decide to go for a Magnus possibly at the end of the picking phase here. But now I can only assume that you're either going to pick up Brax's hero or Onyx Mike's hero here. You just need something that doesn't really easily get countered, and you want to set yourself up for a final counter pick, having the more advantageous pick on the team side already in this first game. And that could be Brax's hero. Kunkka's a little bit of an interesting pick. It's sort of your instant, you're dismembered. Nope, you're not. He's X'd, instantly disable that, as well as working very well versus the sniper, where there's really no item situation that you can fix the problem of, I'm sniper, I'm hexed, what do I do? You can't run away. I think this Kunkka is a fantastic answer to a lot of the heroes on Arkosh just right off the bat. And it's hard to even delve into this gyrocopter because we don't know what position it's necessarily going to be played in, whether this is going to be the carry or the 5, because I believe they like running this Pudge in the offlane when they can get it into their offlane players' hands. But at the same time, it's hard. It's going to be hard no matter what. It's just team. Even with Nyx Assassin, Medusa, Kunkka, their heroes are just so strong right off the bat. And the damage issue that I'm sort of mentioning that they needed to pick up in their support, something that we see, again, Hoodwink Lion, Winter Wyvern, that is the damage that you need to kill these people, especially when you're not getting really any damage from either your Pudge or your Sniper with the way that you have to build those heroes. So Kunkka really compounds that issue. And I feel like no matter what Arkosh pick here, I'd love to see the Magnus because, again, that repositioning tool is very interesting. But, okay, they go for Invoker, the multi-tool of the mid lane. But, again, they need to have really good lanes. They have to get really good item timings. Otherwise, they're going to run out of damage so quickly.
Right. That's something that the Invoker can maybe help with later on down the line. But very rarely do we see the Invoker sort of go for those early exort points. It happens every once in a while, but still feels like the Quas Wex is sort of the go-to for most Invokers, and that may very well be the case here, in which case he's got a lot of lockdown, but not a lot of damage until much later. So, who knows? Arkosh, they can play aggressively, but it just feels like they're not going to have enough to really punch through anyone, especially with Team now getting themselves the Ember Spirit as well with that 4th pick. So you mentioned earlier on that Kunkka could very well be Brax's hero in the offlane, looking a little bit more like a possibility here. That the Ember would take mid, Kunkka would be shifted into that pause 3 role.
Yeah, and of course, it feels just a little bit bad, again, if you're Arkosh. They picked one of the spirits whenever you have no stuns, unfortunately. But you can't really do very much. You kind of have to, you made your bed, it's time to lie in it. They picked Ember Spirit, your really guaranteed stun for him is going to be that Assassinate. But is that something that really is going to be able to react with the Slight? Of course, he's a really good player. He's probably going to be able to dodge that one out as well. Same with the homing missile. I really think if Relia ever dies in this game, it's going to be some fantastic rotation coming in from a support in the mid lane before he ever has the remnants available to him, with maybe his shield getting purged off by the Invoker. But I feel like there needs to be a really big carnival of errors for Relia to really ever feel threatened in this game. I really don't think he's ever going to feel like, oh, I can't go in because I'm afraid of these heroes, because as of right now, Arkosh, well, they've got the meme, they've got the cool heroes, they've got the setup, but again, once you get these heroes, once you get your hands on anyone on team side, I really don't think Arkosh know what to do with them. They're like a dog chasing a car. I don't think they really are ready for what's going to happen once they finally catch up to it. And now on team side, just going to solidify their draft with either probably Mike's or Flea's hero, because I am assuming that it is going to be Brax Kunkka. It just feels like a classic Brax hero. Again, the offlane pool is more or less untouched. If they did want to shift it around a little bit, maybe do something weird, put Flea on the Kunkka and then end up going for another offlaner, but they're going to be pretty standard. And Kunkka Mirana is a surprisingly strong lane because you have the X torrent into arrow. Unless your 5 is diving in front of those arrows, you're stunned for, what, maybe 6 seconds. It's not fun, not something you necessarily want to deal with. And it's a lot of magic damage coming out for whatever safe laner Arkosh need to play. And it's almost too strong. I think Gyrocopter might be completely dissuaded from being put in that one position. So, okay. I guess we'll see what people lock in. I know Canis Vulpes' hero. I don't know very much else.
Who goes where?
Okay, there we go.
So yeah, Gremlo on the Pudge. Cerberus. Actually, well, now this is where things get a little bit weird, because Shadow is sort of standing in for Arkosh, which means that throws their normal placement sort of a little bit out of whack. Cerberus, though, I assume is going to be playing a carry on that gyrocopter. Anything else just feels like it just straight up would not work, really. So we know who's going where. Not really sure how effective it's going to be, but as you said earlier, Arkosh sort of made their bed. Now they have to lie in it, and we'll see how well that plays out for them. It's going to be interesting no matter what, but is interesting the same as effective? I'm tempted to say no, at least for the time being.
And at least with this Omni Knight, I guess the cool idea is that you are going to tank up your gyro just that little bit more. You do have an ability to sort of squeeze your carry out of the stuns, but at the same time, I just don't think that the gyro is going to be able to output nearly enough damage to kill anyone, and you really are quite all in on this character. If you're not able to get really fast timings, if you don't get that Aghanim Scepter Butterfly, really just all the works. You need Ag's Butterfly Satanic, and then maybe you can stand next to a Medusa, but still, whenever she commits Stone Gaze, you're always going to run away. At the same time, you're playing gyro now versus the Nyx Assassin, so you're always going to be stunned if you ever do commit that flak. I think there are a lot of questions in the Arkosh lineup, but if they can give us a good performance, then that's all we're waiting for, right?
Right. The name of the game at the end of the day for Arkosh is to entertain, right? And if they can do that, oh, maybe it'll be mission accomplished for them. And there we go. Yeah, a little bit of clarification there coming in from the Omni. They are Shadow, not Goat. I still don't entirely know how you fail to put your name in correctly, but I guess we've all been there before. Meanwhile, Arkosh wondering where Gunner is. That's... Ooh, boy. They're just going to cut deep as quickly as they can, as early as they can.
I say, that's fresh. That's not nice. Of course, Ike's Mike giving them the no-all, and then he just gets called old in his face. I mean, they're killers on Arkosh. Absolutely.
Well, like we said, it'll be entertaining. The Dota at a certain point is almost the sideshow in this particular matchup, but well, we'll see how this goes. Arkosh are pushing across the river pretty early here. Okay. Bro and Gremlo making their way across. Shadow's coming up behind. He's already put the point up on the Omni in the Purification, so knows exactly what he wants there. No potential sort of degen aura just to try and run anything down, and that was probably for the best. They don't actually run into anyone in the first place, so a bit of a loop around in the jungle. Not much going to come of it as we get the laning stage underway.
Yeah, and we'll have to see. Really, I just think they need to get as much as they can out of bottom, because again, everything is going to be focused on this gyrocopter. If he does fall a little bit too far behind, and he should fall a little bit behind, because unfortunately, as good as this Omni Knight hero is on paper, there's a big reason why we don't see teams value it nearly as much as other heroes. It just doesn't sort of stand up to the aggression of a lot of heroes in the game. Flea sort of missing his arrow onto the range creep there, but again, we'll have to see what he's able to sort of get out of bottom, because this lane is going to become difficult for him once Brass gets a few levels, but at least you are laning versus a melee hero in this bottom lane, so the Purification will do a little bit more in that regard, if anything.
Shadow's going to be able to do a little bit of harassment, but I don't think it's going to be anything too major. Cerberus would need to be able to hit with that homing missile for them to really follow anything up, and right now, that's just straight up not going to be a focus for him. First point up in the flat cannon in the laning stage. So aggression, not exactly going to be the name of the game for them, but as long as Shadow on this Omni continues to just sort of hack away, throw out the occasional Purification, as you said, against the melee Kunkka, we can at least keep them at bay. Meanwhile, up in that top lane, Gremlo going in onto Sammy early on here with the Rot. It's level 1, and Sammy has the shield already, so not very likely to find any kills, but they're just trying to be as annoying as possible. You see the shrapnel now even coming through from Crow, so everything they can do to slow down this Medusa. We've seen multiple times today this sort of safe lane carry on the Dire side really just sort of getting everything and anything that they wanted out of the lane, so Arkosh trying to sort of learn their lesson from some of those previous matches from the other squads, hoping to put that pressure on. We'll see whether they can actually do it. Sammy, for now, doesn't really look like he's sweating this too significantly. Mike is here to back him up if anything really does get all that dangerous. And considering Arkosh have 2 heroes with AoE damage, Mike is really never going to miss that Carapace. He goes in now for the Impale Stun as well. That... okay, didn't really do much there. I think he just sort of denied Gremlo the chance at a last hit, and yeah, the Pudge doesn't quite appreciate it, throwing the tip over there early.
Yeah, and a little bit of a bunch, or a couple misplays there. Doesn't actually hit a snake on the range creep, so he doesn't get any mana from a snake, as well as Mike. Just need to be a little bit careful here. Oh, Mike.
Oh, there's going to be the hook, pulling him back in. And
okay.
Gremlo. The man knows his punch, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Sammy?
Can take a lot of damage here.
It is time to go, Sammy. Time to leave. He can't go anywhere if he's going to stand his ground. Gremlo should die. That, ooh, he actually... he did. He tried to salve there to get himself through the tower shots. That's going to be a bit of a waste, but at the end of the day, I mean, they get both of the kills. They get First Blood and the follow-up onto Sammy Boy, so that's more than worth it, really. Yeah, you lose Gremlo, but you're slowing the Medusa down. Now Crow, too far forward potential. Ooh, that snake needed to bounce, so Crow may actually be able to get himself away. Okay, he doesn't want to get away. He wants the turn. First shrapnel charge going down, and by first I mean only, because that's the only one he had left. Gremlo, though, thinking about it. Not going to go for it. Would have been exciting. Has 2 points up in the rot, so maybe you get that kill, but again, Crow didn't have another shrapnel charge to sort of follow it up, so it would have been a neat play, but I don't think it would have really netted them the kill. So Mike lives to see another day, and at this point, Team are just going to try to reset, basically, in this lane.
Oh, in mid. Ooh. He got arrowed under tower.
Okay, and his Vulpes hit up. Flea, I mean, at a certain point, Flea on Mirana, you just expect that play to happen, right? Like, it's kind of shocking when he misses the arrow. So, Flea doing Flea things, wraps around mid, the Invoker too far forward, got all the way across the river, does end up getting punished for it, and now the Mirana is just going to take a couple of extra last hits in the jungle as well. He didn't actually get the Dark Troll Summoner, got one of the smaller ones. That's a bit of a bummer, but overall, he is still doing exactly what they need. He's rotating, he's securing runes here for Ryoya to refill that bottle, and just trying to be as big a nuisance as he possibly can as he'll make his way back down bot. No, he won't. He'll throw the arrow first, and again, well, he's only getting the smaller creeps. That's back-to-back there. You'd almost think maybe that was intentional if he messes it up twice, but I don't think that's really the case.
When you take a look at the stacks, he's just... and this is something that, again, you're going to feel the repercussions of one lane felt across the map, where even though, again, they killed Mike again top, it's a little bit strange to see the Nyx Assassin dying in such a fashion, but because bottom is so really easy for Brax, especially, I believe, for the build that the Gyrocopter ended up going, which is just the trying to farm as fast as you can. I'm not sure if he has stats yet at level 4, but that's pretty common nowadays. But because of that, Flea has all of this time. He gets the enemy team's bounty rune, he gets the arrow on the Invoker mid, he gets the stack pretty much uncontested, and really, you can't contest the stacks any sooner on the Radiant side either. Arkosh will never be able to make that sort of 5-man rotation into the enemy jungle. They just don't have the spells to do it. The best spell adept early for clearing out those stacks would maybe be a Meteor from the Invoker, but aside from that, I don't think there really is a good opportunity for them. And even though Mike has died twice top, almost got hooked again, this is all just every single time waves are pushed into the Medusa, Sammy Boy is not missing a beat. He's just going to get all of that farm, scoop it up, and it really doesn't matter if you're winning or losing your Medusa lane, because, again, it doesn't matter. She's just going to go to the jungle. She could care less about her Nyx Assassin dying. It's more so that Mike's game is getting worse than it is Sammy Boy's is. It's not really adversely affecting him too much. Right.
That is always the danger of the Medusa. You want to try to slow her down in the lane, but you can't win against that Medusa early, as Ryoya able to get the kill there over in the middle lane, but back up top, Sammy is going to get jumped in on. Canis Vulpes making the rotation in, and they do find the kill. Haste Rune really coming into play there, and, well, like I said, you're never going to be able to necessarily straight up win the lane. The Medusa can always just rotate into the jungle, but that's 2 deaths for Sammy in the first 6 or 7 minutes, so if he rotates into the jungle and he's not already ahead, that is the best I think you're going to be able to do, and certainly going to go a long way for that Arkosh side. Good rotation from Canis Vulpes, but now Ryoya, he's sort of drifting in between here. Don't know if he wants to go for a play or if he's just looking to steal some creeps, but he's sort of behind enemy lines, so to speak. His courier, though, was flying over. I don't think Canis Vulpus actually saw it, so he will remain stealthy enough to get back onto his own side, and Ryoya really just trying to be as efficient as possible, trying to keep himself up here with the other cores in terms of that last hit count, and I mean, he's farming well, he's got 2 kills, no one's really been able to put any pressure on him, so talked about it earlier, the fact that Ryoya going down would have to involve quite a few mistakes, and so far, I haven't really seen him make any, but over in the top lane, Mike actually gets hooked back into that shrapnel. He used the Spike Carapace the first time around on the initial shrapnel charge, so Gremlo knows he's got a free path in, and they will find that kill once more.
And that's something that I think in this top lane, again, Flea is just doing a fantastic job. Well, just look at the Ancient stacks. It's absolutely monstrous what he's doing on his triangle, but they've been really slow to react to the actual aggression and the heroes in this top lane, and it could just be sort of discomfort or inexperience playing versus the Pudge Sniper, where maybe you're undervaluing the actual damage and lockdown that they are able to output. But this is a 5-stack Ancients, a 5-stack large camp, and I don't think the Omni Knight has made any rotation to scout that out, possibly. Of course, it will be a decent amount of time before Sammy Boy is ever able or ever capable of taking that stack, but it's so big. Again, Arkosh really have no chance to steal it either, so if they can keep playing on Sammy Boy does have to sort of take the small creeps. That's where they're going to get sort of their guaranteed play, and I think there is level 6 on Pudge.
Trying to set up for it. Gremlo connecting with the hook into the Dismember. They've got the shrapnels down. The Sudden Strike even coming in from Canis Vulpus, and Sammy, can he survive? He's going to pop the wand charges. That's enough for now. The boat comes in as well, but that rum, it just won't be enough deferral to actually keep him alive. Sammy goes down, and now Brax in some trouble as well. Assassinate comes through. Canis Vulpus hits him up with the Cold Snap, but it's not enough damage. So the Kunkka will survive for now. Gremlo now is sort of caught in between multiple heroes as Ryoya was able to bring him down with the help of Flea, and that should be this fight sort of breaking up and fading away. Arkosh get in there for Sammy. Gremlo does have to sacrifice himself, but I mean, we said before, the Medusa's just going to sort of rotate into the jungle after the laning stage. Arkosh say, that's cool, we'll hunt you down in the jungle too. We'll just keep the pressure on as much as we possibly can. 3rd death now for Sammy Boy, so he's not getting that sort of free pass that you normally expect for that Medusa after that laning stage comes to an end, and now he's hooked again. That's just not fair. Gremlo sets it up, but here's Ryoya in with the Searing Chains, buying a little bit of time. Not enough, though. They still get down the Dismember. Sammy will fall, and now Ryoya's just got to bail out. He's going to jump across the river. Gremlo has the hook up, but not for another couple seconds. The Assassinate, though, flies through. Ryoya's still alive. Sunstrike off the mark. Looks like he will live. Gremlo tried for it, though. Okay. Got to give him points for the effort. The ambition is there, but the accuracy not quite. But another kill onto the Medusa again and again. They just keep going.
And Crow's just showing off here, dropping the Tranquil Boots in between the tower hits. He's just, they're just gamers on Arkosh, what can you say? But unfortunately, Sammy Boy, yeah, it was a really good Cold Snap from Canis Vulpus to actually catch him off guard here, but it's the spot. The Pudge stands here on the cliff during nighttime, and then he gets you on your high ground. And Gremlo just saw the bank. He just saw everything here. And it's actually going to be Brax taking this Ancient stack. I'm guessing Sammy Boy is just like, I need too many levels. I'm not going to be able to farm it. Give me some XP if anything. But this is kind of a sad situation for Sammy Boy. 0-4-1, but it's hard to ever count him out because, again, he is just going to kind of Medusa things up. He's going to get a lot of levels off of this large camp stack, and maybe he'll be confident enough to maybe poke and prod a little bit of that Ancient stack. I do think Brax would probably still rotate over.
Here comes Arkosh, though. Again. Not able to hit with the hook, but they know now. Arkosh are very much aware of what's going down. The question is, can they do anything about it? I don't really know. They're backing off for now. Ryoya's sort of giving him the side eye. Does he want to really go in? Gremlo doesn't have the hook up for another couple seconds, so there might have been a window of opportunity, but at that point, Sammy says, no, I just want to sit here and farm. He's going to do Medusa things. Doesn't want to get involved in a massive fight, especially considering no point up in the Stone Gaze. So a fight would not bode well for him at the moment. He's just going to back off, and honestly, if your team, that goes fine. You take the stack. It wasn't easy. You have to deal with a little bit of aggression, but the Whiffed Hook really just sort of takes the wind out of Arkosh's sails, so to speak, and they can't really set anything up.
You got 3 Black Dragons as well, so this is just the easiest farm you could possibly get. I think Brax only ended up taking one of the big ones, so gets 2 levels off of his stack, is eventually able to finish off his Dragonlance. And during all this, Flea was occupying the top lane. Flea's the real happy gamer here. He's just been getting all of the XP, farm, net worth. Nobody has been playing opposite to him in the top lane. It's just been a sort of brawl all across the map. a brawl that, if anything, Canis Vulpes has been able to sort of pull ahead a little bit. Has a Spirit Vessel already if they do want to get a little bit more aggressive, but has definitely been farming a little bit less than Rioya. But Rioya also has just been having to react to this Pudge, and top.
Yep. Gremlo's in for the fight. They've caught out Flea, but Brax is going to be there. Unfortunately, that's not enough defensive power. The Assassinate still comes through, so Flea will fall, but Brax is going to be able to take the kill onto the Pudge, but now the reinforcements are here. Yeah, it is time to back away. Rioya, very low on mana. He could pop that regen rune, but he would like to sort of do so on his own terms as he gets into the tree line, pops that regen, and now they will maybe think about what they want to do here. They've still got a couple heroes in the area, but Mike, gotta be careful. There's a Sentry Ward directly sort of on top of him, so he's not as sneaky as he thinks he is. And Shadow is going to spot out that Nyx, but at this point, they take the tower instead. Not really looking for the fight at that point. They still don't really know exactly where the Ember was in that scenario either, so they play it safe, they take the tower, they back themselves away, and Arkosh, not so bad on that one. Would have been nice if they could have kept Gremlo alive, but the Pudge is just looking to sort of keep the pace of play going for himself and his team right now. 6 stacks up on the Flesh Heap, so you gotta like the level of activity, and that's just how the Pudge is going to work, right? Every time you play aggressively, you have that sort of potential for it to sort of bite you in the ass just a little bit, but if he continues to make those plays at the rate that he has been, you take the good over the bad. As smoke play into the jungle, what are they going to find here? They're looking, I think they're looking for Sammy, but Gremlo isn't really fast enough.
He's going to skill shot it. Ooh,
okay.
Need to.
Dismember comes in. That's going to be a pretty easy one. Canis Vulpes picks up the kill. Shadow was there for the assist with the purification, and now, yeah, that's the cue for Rioya to leave. That tornado is just a little too late. It's in the right spot, but not quite fast enough. The homing missile, though, is still flying out, but by this point, Rioya's back under the tower. Cerberus can right-click him a little bit, but it's really not going to turn into a fight. But they got the Nyx. They forced Sammy out of the jungle, push him back onto his own side, so that's going to be something, but Sammy is going back to the stacks here. He's just going to keep on farming. He's got the Crystallis up for a little bit of extra damage, so I don't know. This is going to be a bit of a concern for them. They really can't let the Medusa just sit here and farm stacks all day, but we saw them go into this Eastside jungle once, and if Gremlo doesn't hit the hook to start off that fight, there's nothing they can do. So, I'm going to be able to
Bro.
Bro. Just trying to soak up some experience, get a couple of last hits. Instead, he finds Rioya and Mike. They're able to lock him down. Rioya gets the kill. 3-0 now for the Ember Spirit, so starting to build up a little bit of speed underneath him. He's close, yeah, close-ish to finishing off that Maelstrom. So the damage output for the Ember is going to take a step forward once he can pick that up, and then Rioya is going to be that guy that you can sort of rely upon to sort of act as the more aggressive aspect of this lineup while the Medusa continues to farm. So that is a level of activity that's going to sort of see a sizable increase as Canis Vulpes, speaking of activity, jumping in on to Brax's Kunkka. They hit him up with the Cold Snap. That's an interesting attempt from Brax, showing off that shiny Aghanim Scepter with the Torrent Storm, but it successfully delays his death by a second or two. Not going to be enough to actually keep him alive, though. So Arkosh, they get their target. They push into the jungle. They've been playing pretty aggressively here, and question now is, can they get this tier 1 tower mid? That's going to be the sort of big ticket item for them. They get through it fairly quickly, and that opens up so much of the map for them as Gremlo, alright, fair enough, shoot your shot. He's got the Blink Dagger online, so he felt it was worth the attempt. Not going to be able to hit, but Crow is still pushing, and Sammy,
oh, they're baiting.
This is an awkward position for him. He's going to take some damage. The arrow, though, will be thrown out. It's going to be dodged by everyone other than Canis Vulpes, who gets hit all the way in the back, but yeah, this isn't really going to be a fight. That homing missile technically will hit, but by that point,
no, there can't be.
IX Mike's already sort of sitting in the intercept position there, just in case. Crow did not get the memo, though, that his teammates weren't going in, but there's going to be the defensive hook pulling him back in. Mike will still stun him up with the Impale, but at this point, I don't think Team really want this. The Assassinate is... okay, on to Sammy. That didn't really do a whole lot, but It's at least going to keep a little bit more damage onto that. Oh, God. Onto that Medusa as another sort of play comes in. The defensive hook, though, will pull Cerberus back, but the Ghost Ship still lands onto him. The Impale comes out as well. They are fighting their way through this, but Shadow is going to be there with that ult, trying to turn around the fight, and it's actually going fairly well. IX Mike is going to be taken down. The Assassin is now coming out as they've isolated Sammy from the rest of his team. Do they have the damage to bring him down? The Deafening Blast comes through. There's going to be the call down as well for Cerberus, and Sammy will fall. Crow does eventually get sacrificed, but at this point, Team very much happy with this. They want even more, but there's going to be the arrow coming out of point-blank range. X marks the spot in as well. Ryoya just drops every single remnant he had into that fight, and he is going to be able to take Cerberus down. And now if you're Arkosh, you have gone a bit too far forward. They're going to sort of bail themselves out here. Gremlo TP's away. Canis Vulpus gets out as well. That dust is way, way too late. So Arkosh at least pulled themselves out of that one with lower casualties than it could have been, but all things considered, that fight probably should have gone better for them in the first place.
Yeah, and really, it's just losing the Vision War just a little bit there. IX Mike was able to get a little bit of infrastructure down right before really that fight got into full swing, was able to de-ward up on the hill as well, and that was the Aghanim Scepter reveal on the Kunkka. And that Torrent Storm really is quite obnoxious. If your hero isn't heavenly graced, you really are just kind of out of luck. You just have to really dodge and try to do whatever you can to weave in between those torrents, but at the same time, you killed Sammy Boy again. You isolated him, honestly, very well. You caught him on the low ground. You kited 3 heroes away from the Medusa, and if you can keep on catching the Medusa away from his teammates, we saw in that previous series, if you can get the snake away from her friends, then you can kill her friends or you can kill the snake. You just need to do one of those decisions. If you make it fast enough, then you can 100% get away with it, especially as these items start going their way. We're about, what, 1,500 gold away from the Aghanim Scepter on the Sniper. Then you're really going to start to see them sort of go for these crazier and crazier hook plays, as well as the Aghanim Scepter being finished up on the Gyrocopter in just a few more creep camps. And really, I think Team, they still aren't really playing to their lineup strengths. I think they're playing a lot slower, kind of because they have to. They really haven't been respecting, I think, a lot of Arkosh's just raw skill. And hey, Gremlo got Flea.
Oh yeah, he thought that was a leap for a second. Okay. Up in that accuracy percentage doesn't result in much of anything, but got some bragging rights there. While Ryoya, I don't know about this. He doesn't have a lot of backup, and there's Gremlo in with the Dismember. Can actually blow him up in time, though. That's going to be a bit of an issue, but they do have the Cold Snap in there. The Assassinate, I'm not sure if the damage actually connected, but Ryoya is still getting hit, and the hook connects. He gets frozen by the Stone Gaze immediately after, but he still lands at Ryoya taken down, but this is where it goes bad for Arkosh. They go way too far forward to get that kill. Goat dead, Canis Vulpus and Gremlo both taken down as well, and now Cerberus is going to get hit by the X, pulled back into the fight. Sammy will lock him down for the kill, so it's a nifty play from Gremlo, but they really just sort of go all out for that, and it costs them pretty heavily, and at this point, Crow and Goat are just going to have to try and hold on here. Excuse me, not Goat, Shadow. Did Shadow buy back? Yes. So the Omni buys back for very little. There's not a lot they can do here. They can't even really defend the tower. They'll throw down the shrapnel, but it's not going to be enough. Tower will still fall, and now Shadow gets hit up by the X. Pulls him back into the arrow as the Omni is going to get stunned up, but parting shot. Nobody was really looking for the fight there. Everyone on Team will simply back away.
And really, it's just, they were so excited about the hook. You could see it in their eyes. As soon as he got the hook on Ryoya, they were all in, just running at the Medusa. Could not care less that he was stone-gazed, and they 100% get punished for it. That's what happens. You run straight at Medusa that's stone-gazed. Not much to say other than that. But also, playing into that Torrent Storm again, it's just brutal.
Ooh.
And actually,
Brax tried to TP home. He was looking for that sort of nifty X play. TP out, X yourself back in. Instead, the Gremlo blinks in, gets the hook off. Canis Vulpus finds the kill, and they're into the pit. Roshan going their way.
Yeah, this is theirs. There's actually nothing they can do about it.
They're not even really going to try here on Team, although as I say that, Ryoya, I don't know about this. Oh, okay. Gremlo missed the hook, so if he saw that hook went through, maybe they actually make a play for it, but a little bit too fast. Arkosh are able to secure it. Cerberus will get the Aegis. That EMP does hit onto Gremlo, though, so burns away a little bit of the mana, but that's not going to matter too much. 2 lives up now for that Gyrocopter, and he's just going to push directly into the middle lane. He knows Flea's really the only one here, so not much of a direct threat against him to burn through that Aegis. And at this point, if you're Team, You got to be careful. They're getting sort of pushed further and further apart, and now Ryoya, he's alone. They need to get out of Gremlo's way. Tried for the blink in. He was hoping for the dismember directly rather than relying on the hook, but Ryoya a little bit faster with the reactions. He jumps away before anybody can hit him up.
Yeah, and that's where it will get easier with this Aghanim Scepter completed on Crow. Once he has it, it will mean that they can actually start to make some of these plays, maybe go for an attempt onto the Ember Spirit. The easiest setup for that play, though, is still just the Cold Snap. If you can get to just that second of discombobulation, you can pretty much always get that Dismember off, but here's Sammy Boy.
Wow. Shadow was not messing around there. The second that initiation comes through, they just straight up drop down that Guardian Angel. That's a pretty long cooldown, all things considered, but better safe than sorry as Crow turns around, throws out the ult onto Ryoya. The hook will connect. The Dismember is going to be there. The Sunstrike's coming in as well. And this Ember's in some serious trouble. Ryoya, though, not dead yet. The Ghost Ship is going to fly through. Will it be enough? Yes, it will. Ryoya gets away. Canis Volpus actually the one to fall. Now Gremlo is going to get caught up inside of the Torrent Storm. He'll be taken down as well. Shadow now trying to TP away, but the X is going to be pulling her right back in. Omni is not going anywhere. Crow, though, nope, not TPing out either. Flee with the point-blank arrow. And Arkosh are just going to get completely run down here. Shadow, no. Okay, thought maybe for a second that the Omni was getting away, but the X going to pull that Omni Knight back in. Ryoya gets the kill, and Team. Absolutely fantastic fight. The Gyrocopter gets away with the Aegis, but you take down everyone else.
And I hate to be that guy, but it would have been nice if they had GA there. It would have been really nice, but unfortunately, it's, again, partially just Team making the immediate jump, knowing that they have the advantage, and they did sort of the opposite to what we keep on seeing happen to this Medusa. We saw it happening to the Gyrocopter, where your Aegis carrier was completely isolated on the other side. They ran past him, and they killed all of your teammates, and the exact perfect pecking order as well. Getting the Invoker right off the bat, that's huge. Then following it up by taking out the Pudge. Once you get those two playmakers out of the Arkosh lineup, you have an Assassinate every 12.85 seconds, and then you've got a hero with no stuns and can only heal. So if you really aren't finding those saves, and those saves aren't happening from the Omni Knight, it feels like, why would you have an Omni Knight then? They're trying to make this Gyrocopter into the monster. They're trying to make it this big hero that Team have to focus down. But at the same time, Team has so much vision, they have so much sort of strength in these team fights that they really can just walk around the Gyrocopter and then take everyone out in pretty much whatever fashion they can. Because, again, who do they have kill threat on? They've got kill threat on Ryoya when he messes up and he gets dismembered. And aside from that, everybody else is just such a hard kill. This is also without Sammy Boy even sort of suicidally running in with Stone Gaze. He's just been able to save it for a lot of these team fights because really real effective HP 4K HP Medusa is just going to run in every single time. And what are you going to do? You have to ignore. You have to run away, because if you get that Scotty Slow on you, you're pretty much good at dead. You're good as dead at that point. But we are ending up in that eventuality where if you can't hook in the Medusa, then what are you going to do with this Medusa? You're probably going to lose all your outer towers. So the game plan is continuing to get more difficult for Arkosh.
And it's interesting to note, for Sammy, you take a look at the stat line here, 2, 5, and 8, and sure, that doesn't look overly impressive. You have to take into account, though, 4 of those 5 deaths came in the first 10, 12 minutes, thereabouts. So since that initial sort of stumble out of the gates, Sammy has been efficient. He's been safe for the most part in all these fights as well, and he's been able to contribute a fair bit of damage both to the pushing and to those team fight scenarios, as we see right now. Looking for the tier 2 tower down bot. He's going to blow up that homing missile before it can make its connection, and now Cerberus is in some serious trouble here. Heavenly Grace is going to get applied to him, but Gremlo's in there for the defensive hook, but now they're all just trapped in the tree line. They can't get themselves out of here, and they're going to get, well, maybe not wiped out just yet. Crow will fall, but Shadow does come in with that GA. That's going to buy a little bit of time, but it's really just not enough. Yeah, Shadow is down. The Aegis gets burned. Gremlo will fall. They're going to lose Canis Volpus as well. Triple kill right now for Sammy. He's looking for the Ultra in on the Cerberus, but Ryoya is going to be able to take it away. Either way, though, full 5-man wipe. The Aegis absolutely did not matter. And now Gremlo just trying to pad the stats a little bit there. Gets off the hook into the blink out, but tower damage isn't going to be enough. Mike will survive, and now not for Zoomers. Team have the opportunity to push the high ground.
Yeah, and really, just what can you do at this point? And you saw there, as soon as they TP'd onto that tier 2 tower, they went for the assassinate. It was slightly disconjoined from that pudge hook, and they miss it, and then they sit in the trees because they have to wait for another assassinate. It just feels like now the game is going to sort of divulge into the state where I really am struggling to find a situation where Arkosh are now going to be able to take that fight, because all of your timings are completely messed up. You have the Ags on the sniper. You're going to work on the Satanic now for the Gyrocopter. You would love a BKB and a Satanic, because again, there's this Nyx assassin that's just very quietly, happily playing in the backlines, who's just stunning you with Carapace. And then without BKB, it's not like you can ever really commit.
Hold up now.
Sammy?
They got the hook onto Sammy. They're trying to keep him locked down, but the Stone Gaze... that ruins pretty much everything. Now, Canis Vulpus, he's been hit by the X. The Torrent comes out as well. The Searing Chain's even being thrown down, and now he's in actual trouble. The Invoker dropping low. But, yep, Sammy in some trouble again. BKB freshly delivered. He'll pop it there, looking to turn around and hold his ground as Canis Vulpus will fall. Gremlo hit up by the Torrent. Before he can land, though, he will be finished off, and now Arkosh, it felt like maybe they had a tiny little window of opportunity there, but the moment has passed them by, and they're going to lose more. Shadow will be taken down. Flea gets the kill, and anybody who's left just has to fall back. Crow makes it back into the base. They do pull back with Cerberus as well, but as you said before, the Gyro just doesn't have what he needs yet. The Satanic's not done. You don't have anything along the lines of a BKB to protect, so he's just getting sort of blown up. Once he actually tries to fully commit for that fight, he has to stay on the sort of edges, and if he's hanging out on the periphery of that fight, he's not really doing his full damage, and at this point he's not doing his full damage anyway. There's still no points up in the Rocket Barrage, so doesn't want to get in close, so he feels he doesn't need the Rocket Barrage, but if he stays that far away, he's not really doing the damage he needs to turn the fights around either.
Yeah, and that's where, after the Satanic, he's got this Daedalus queued up, but Sammy Boy's just cheating. He bought a BKB versus Arkosh. There's not much they can do at this point, and of course, it's unfortunate that it does get delivered as they do try to re-go on him. He only had another 800 HP. He was still pretty set mana-wise, but still, it's kind of frustrating. Sammy Boy just doesn't have mana shield on. I don't know what his problem is. There we go. Toggles it finally, but at the rate they're going. At the rate they're going, though, it feels like they could just set up for Aegis if they wanted to. They could just set up for all of the outer towers. They're going to get these tier 3s, and if you get a Paladin Sword on Sammy Boy, I feel like there's no way in, or just no shot, actually, that they could kill them. They're still waiting for one more, I think, but...
Gremlo whiffing on the hook on... Well, a fully stationary target. I was trying to be nice about it, but... as Sammy Boy completely and totally standing still, and they miss with the hook. Gremlo, though, going to try it again, but there's Mike stepping in front, gets the stun down. And do they really want to go all the way in for this, though? They're looking for the tower, but the backdoor protection is there, and Arkosh are grouped up like they want to fight, so I don't really know if Team commit for this one fully, but they're going to go in, they get the hook again, but they pull in Mike again. IX Mike is just sort of acting as that, well, Secret Service agent, jumping in front of Sammy Boy once again, and if they can't pull the Medusa in, even if they kill the Nyx Assassin, that's not going to be a kill that's worthwhile for them. So you see for Arkosh, once they realize they got the Nyx rather than anyone else, they just back away.
And really, all of those assassinate hooks, they're not even to try and kill the Medusa. They're trying to force a BKB. They're trying to bait Sammy Boy because they know if he has BKB, there's actually no chance of killing this Medusa ever. But if they're never able to force it, again, it's just IX Mike. Get down, Mr. President. Just hopping in front of them. Missed the Carapace a few times on that hook, but without proper sentries down, and they didn't have coverage in front of their tower there, it's just, again, the Vision War being won by the veteran on the enemy team. Mike just knows where you're playing, he knows your site, and he's just sitting there Vendetta, and he's not getting stunned by the Assassinate. And Rioya, this isn't even a play.
What exactly is the plan here from Arkosh? They're going in for it. Brax is starting to drop a little bit low, and there's going to be the GA being deployed, but, I mean, both Brax and Rioya got a whoa. Didn't get away after all. Gremlo in with the hook, pulling Brax back into the fight. The call down is going to be enough to finish him off, so Arkosh gets something, but now Sammy is into the fight. BKB active. He's looking to lock down the Invoker with the damage. We'll be able to find that kill. They're in onto Crow now as well, as Rioya rejoined the fight. Further to the south, though, Cerberus was able to get a kill onto Flea with the help of that Omni, but that one got broken up pretty significantly. It's really only thanks to Gremlo with that hook on to the Kunkka that they get anything even remotely resembling a favorable trade.
And you see there that it's just kind of really toying around with them a little bit. He's gonna get hooked here.
There's not enough damage. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is not going to go the
Okay.
way you want.
Goodbye.
Wow. Goodbye, Shadow. Thanks for playing, but that doesn't quite work out the way that they had planned. Ryoya picks up the kill, and now with Sammy bringing up the rear, they're going in for a second lane of racks. Hook, though, connecting onto IX Mike again. He's just going to step in front every single time, and now Gremlo is stunned up, and he will be taken down. Sammy finds the kill. Homing missile, though, does connect onto Mike, but at this point, Cerberus, there's no backup, and he doesn't really have enough damage. But okay, never mind. He just blows up IX Mike. Not going to be able to do much to the other cores, but he at least finds that one kill. But now they're trying to go in onto Sammy. Can they hit him up? They're going to have to get through the Medusa twice, though, because of that Aegis, but they may as well give it a shot at this point. Trying to get through the first life, locking him down, trapping him up inside of that ice wall. But now Ryoya jumps in with that sleight of fist. Crow will fall. Canis Vulpus has to pop the BKB to keep himself alive, but they do get through the Aegis. The question is, do they get through it a second time? No. Cerberus has to run. The arrow will connect, flee on the mark. The meteor, I mean, technically it was there. We'll give him that much, but it wasn't enough to really do any damage. It doesn't save Cerberus, but the gyro will buy back, and at this point it feels like desperation is really setting in for this Arkosh lineup. They realize they're down to their last maybe 1 or 2 attempts to make this happen, as they are going to push onto Sammy, hit him up with Cold Snap into that EMP. It burns away a little bit, but they need more. Gremlo is in, though, connecting with the hook into that Dismember, but there's the Ghost Ship being thrown out defensively from Grax. They're going to be able to keep Sammy alive. Gremlo's the one who will be going down. Shadow now falls as well, and it's all just going to be really all for naught. Cerberus will fall. Double kill for Sammy. No GGs just yet, but really, I mean, what do they have left to fight with? Crow is rejoining
nice
the fight, but by
arrow.
the time he's there, yeah, the Invoker gets hit up. The arrow into the Torrent. Didn't actually kill him, though. Canis Vulpus stays alive, but both Shadow and Crow are taken down, so it's really just Invoker against the world here, and he's not going to be able to do it at this point. He could give it one last shot, but Tier 4 towers are going down. No GG being called just yet, though, so Team thinking about diving. Doing more than thinking about it. Jesus, alrighty. Canis Vulpus taken down. GG comes out. And that is going to be Team handling their business here in Game 1. They get that first win, a game that they very much needed after losing their initial series, but they come out with a no-nonsense lineup. They execute that lineup just about to perfection, and the meme strat from Arkosh doesn't quite pan out for them.
And really what I want to see from Team now, because that was not clean. That was anything but clean. And if they have any shot versus no ping in 2 days' time, I really do think they need to polish it up. If they beat Arkosh in 16 minutes in this next game, I'd feel a lot more confident, because there was definitely some issues. I think there were definitely a few holes, especially in their safe lane, where they were giving up just a little bit more than I really think they had any business doing, as well as just, I think, Flea being very stubborn, not rotating to help his team out. Of course, on a hero that doesn't have the strongest rotations, albeit in the Mirana, but even just positioning, throwing arrows, getting something going on the map, because it did feel like for a shot there, you wanted to give Arkosh something. You wanted to feel like, okay, maybe they're doing it. They've got something. They just took a team fight. They just took Roche. Maybe something's going their way. But then you see the gold lead, and then you think in the back of your mind, they did just first phase Medusa, and she's just doing Medusa things. So even though, again, he was like 0-5-1, ends 12-5-15, your Medusa game does not matter. The first 15 minutes of your Medusa's game does not matter, as long as you can eventually get those items. And I just feel like Arkosh, maybe for a few minutes, they had a shot there, but they just could not keep the pressure on. The execution wasn't there. And again, Team, they drafted, I think, one of the most comfort lineups I feel like ever. I feel like every single player on their team got a hero that they have many games on. I mean, you just look at the hero levels, you could already tell everybody's feeling really comfortable. But I want to see something better, something cleaner in Game 2. Then maybe I can feel a little bit more confident in their match 2 days' time. Or Arkosh 2-1 team. Who knows? We don't.
It could happen. That's true. But yeah. Down the stretch, Team able to sort of execute the strategy, but as you said, that stretch where they finally sort of seemed to hit their mark could have been 5, 8, 10-ish minutes sort of earlier, as you were sort of mentioning. So they play well, but yeah, against no ping, are you going to get away with that? Who knows? For now, Team can't really afford to think about that. Sure, you're up 1-0, but you can't be looking ahead to that next matchup until they've actually put Arkosh away. So we'll see just how well they can sort of handle things. If they can get that clean 2-0 sweep, it's going to go a long way, both towards maybe exercising some of the demons from their earlier loss, and also just giving themselves their own sense of momentum going into a potential matchup with No Ping. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see what kind of wacky draft Arkosh put together here to try and counter this out, as we should be heading into Game 2 in just a couple of minutes. So we'll be taking a short break, but when we return, game number 2 between Arkosh and Team Team.